Okay, now let's go ahead and quickly bring up other VHs in the topology like DC-R2 and B1-R1, and after that we will bring up the CH B2-R1. Okay, so let me log into DC-R2. DC-R2 is 30155. Let me edit this. Okay, so the configuration is similar to what we have done for DC-R1. What we need to do, first we need to do a system config. Okay, what we can do is, let me just copy the config in a notepad here, show run system, so that it will be easy to modify a few of the attributes that are specifically for DC-R2, right? So let me just bring up a notepad. You see, so here this particular device is DC-R2, and then this is 102. Rest everything is same, right? Now we need to take VPN 0 configuration, and the VPN 0, so we need to take the first interface and then the routing, right? So now let's just quickly change this. Now let's go to the, here this is 9.1.2.2, right? 9.1.2.2, rest everything same, so we are going to connect it to biz internet. 9.1.2.1, and if you look at, we have entered under the tunnel interface only encapsulation IPsec and color biz internet. Rest of the configuration is completely a default configuration, and we don't need to modify this default configuration as of now. Okay, so let's copy this, and then sorry, not here, so we need to go to this particular device and then paste it here and then commit, right? So apart from that, what we need to do, so we need to install the root CA, the enterprise root CA, and we need to activate this with valid chassis number and then the token number, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I will go to the vshell, and then let us, I'm just copying it here. I mean, basically I'm creating a file and copying it here so that it will be useful later on as well. I mean, just in case if you want to completely factory reset your device and then want to install that in the vshell, it will be there. I mean, if you remove complete your configuration, right? So let me just go ahead and copy it here. Okay, now let us install request root set chain, install /home /admin /root ca. Okay, so we have installed that. Now let us just activate request vEdge cloud activate chassis number. Let's copy the chassis number from vmanage, go to devices, and you can see the first one, which is actually earlier it has given a token number, now it has generated a serial number for us, and then the same serial number is attached to that particular vEdge cloud, which is DC-R1. Now let us take the second one for DC-R2. and then token. Let's go ahead and copy the token as well. Okay, so for token you just you don't need to copy this token and then the hyphen symbol, just the number is fine. Okay, so now we have activated this. Okay, so let's say for example, if you don't want to do this and you have a root CA somewhere else, right? I mean in the remote location, what you can also do is you can do a request root set chain install. You can see other options that you have here. You can install directly from your HTTP or FTP or TFTP locations, right? And also SCP as well. Okay, so as I don't have anything running here, I'm just copying it within my vShell and then installing it. So but you are free to use any of these mechanisms. Okay, now let's go to the other device. Let us see if this device comes up. Show control connections. You see all the control connections are up and running. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring up the branch 1 vEdge. The branch 1 vEdge is B1R1, which is 30156. Let me access that particular device. (30156). And then let's configure this. So we have the configuration which is part of our notepad earlier. Let us modify accordingly. This is B1R1 103, and this is actually a different site, right? So it should have a unique site ID. So let's configure this site ID as 100. Okay, our vBond is same, and let's go ahead and look for the IP address. This is 9.1.3.2, 9.1.3.2, and then 9.1.3.1. Okay, commit, and now we need to install root CA. Let us see. So I think I have I mean we can just do the copy of that particular all files. So we can just do a request SCP using this command, right? Because I have just tested that. So SCP is running by default in all the vEdge devices. As SCP is running, what we can do is we can leverage any of this show IP interface show interface tab. Okay, what we can see is the management IP address, which is 512, which is 155, right? We can directly install from there. Request root set chain install SCP admin at 192.168.122.155. Path is /home/admin/root/ca, and then VPN 512. It is trying to ask what is the IP address of that. That is also admin, and you can see the root CA is successfully installed. Okay, so basically SCP is running on all the VH devices by default. So it is easy that we can just run, we can just copy the root enterprise root CA certificate in one of the devices, and for rest of the devices we can use that management IP address to access that and then install the certificate using this particular path, right? So I have just tested before doing this lab. So SCP is completely running. Now what we can do is we need to now activate with the valid chassis number and then the token number. So request VH Cloud activate chassis number. Let's go ahead and grab one more chassis number. Okay, and then token number. Looks like it copied twice. Let me, I think till 8. B1 R1. So let me just go ahead and confirm it is still F8. Just closing the other connections. Okay, let me just activate. Okay, now let's go ahead and look into the main dashboard. We have three WAN edge devices that are up and running, right? So DC R1 and DC R2. I think B1 R1 is still getting the complete activation process. It is still undergoing the activation process. We will see in some time this will also go up. Let us quickly verify, show control connections here. Okay, so it formed the control connections. We can quickly, yeah, it just came up. And now you can check the full WAN connectivity here, one site. There is no WAN connectivity for one site. Well, let us go and check. That is just for B1 R1, it just came up. It's going to take some time, and then we are going to see that it is also up and running in some time. Okay, so basically this is how you are, you can see that now the full WAN connectivity is there between two sites because it formed the data plane connection as well using that internet connection. Okay, so how do we verify that? So you can just verify using show BFD sessions. You can see it formed a BFD sessions with 101 and 102. These are the router IDs, basically the system IPs, right? It formed a complete data plane connection, the IPsec connection with both DC R1 and DC R2, right? And it uses base internet as a color. So it formed on that. Okay, as we discussed earlier, I mean, we are not going to configure any of the other interfaces related configuration because we are going to push that using templates. Okay, so this is how we completely bring manually all the VHs. Okay, so you can also use ZTP, but as part of this lab we are using the virtual devices VH Cloud and ISRV. I'm just emphasizing that again, saying we are not using ZTP here because the VH Cloud or the ISRV devices are not capable of zero touch provisioning.